And we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast where we talk about all things pro wrestling, good, bad, and ugly. And we've got another jam-packed show here for you this week. As always, I'm Ryan Hall. I got my boy Dominik LaRue joining us. And Dom, um, first of all, our speculation last week, I think, was spot on. Obviously, the rumors that Naomi was pregnant were running rampant on the internet. And of course, congratulations to her and Jimmy Uso. I know that's been something they've been looking to do for a long, long time. But yeah. I mean, it definitely kind of throws a monkey wrench into the creative plans moving forward.
It definitely does. Because like we were trying to figure out last week, we was excited for the match between Stephanie and Naomi, but with her getting pregnant, that throws a wrench in that match. And I mean, not to take any shine away from the announcement, so nobody, really talked about it or whatever. They were more inclined to talk about, congratulating the two, which again, we
Of
are very
course.
happy for both of them. And I know that they're definitely happy for the bloodline because there's another member in 20, 30 plus whatever that become another star. But it definitely throws a monkey wrench in the not only Clash of Paris, but really just the rest of the year leading up to probably next WrestleMania.
Exactly. Exactly. Because there was, she had to vacate the title, obviously.
Obviously.
Um, even though the segment that she did with Adam Pearce had me in tears. I was laughing
Oh,
so hard. She was still in full nasty heel mode when she did that announcement, and give that woman an Emmy award because that was incredible acting.
and that's another thing. Like, everybody online and just, I mean, anybody, you can ask anybody that, follows wrestling like we do. Naomi was on a tear. Like, this was probably her greatest run, not only in her career, but probably in the last couple years of a heel, to be honest.
Especially in the women's division
I
because
mean, a heel in the
yeah,
women's division, yes.
yeah, absolutely, because you've had so many, like, you've had a lot of the women who make great heels. I mean, Charlotte Flair is a prime example of that. Um, but even then, she wasn't getting the kind of heat that Naomi was. She wasn't getting the kind of reaction that she was, and she wasn't having the kind of matches that Naomi had been. Because if you remember, Naomi started as one of Brodus Clay's dancers.
Exactly. And when we say like, a run like Naomi's, it's the fact that yes, she's playing a heel. Yes, we supposed to, dislike her, but it was something about her run where it was more of a respect factor put on it. Like,
Yes.
the fans were following her, every moment where like it was the Jacob Fatu moment. And it was just like proceed with caution. Everybody was saying it when she said it. Um, everything just was spot on. The way she like talked to Io Sky, Io Sky get to talking in Japanese, and she was like, I don't know what you just said, but I know one thing, I'm gonna whoop your this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And like online, her work online was
Dude,
diabolical.
her social media work has been chef's kiss.
I was like, I can't even front. Like, I can't even be mad. Like, you're supposed to hate a heel, you're supposed to dislike a heel, but it was just like, okay, Naomi got it.
It has been. I know this word's kind of overused in my opinion, but she has been on a generational run.
Yes, yes, she was on like one of, uh, I mean, to be honest, the MJF run. To be honest,
That no, that's a
and
good comp. That's a good
And
comp.
she really brought more attention to that title particular than, I mean, whatever they're doing with Tiffy. I'm sorry. Um,
Yeah.
I may be 10% of the rest of the wrestling community, but uh I know we talk about Cody and his run getting stale or whatever, but I enjoy certain things about it. It's a wide variety of things with Cody's run. Like we could get Randy Orton turning heel, or we can get, Drew. I mean, Drew doing great work as a heel, obviously. It's so many different factors to bring people's A game out when it comes to Cody being champion.
Right.
Versus Tiffy, she's the champion. It's just like, when is somebody gonna take the title off of her? Versus like with Cody, is more of, obviously we probably like, we wondering who will take it off, but we're excited for him being a chaser again versus, having the title. And Tiffany, I'm like, whenever she loses it, I'll be satisfied. Like I want somebody else to hold it, like Bianca or Jade or uh Io Sky or Oscar or just anybody else other than, no disrespect, Nia Jax.
And as a- and I don't think it's a personal slight against Tiffany Stratton
No,
because
absolutely not.
she's a great talent, but her character needs work. She's still incredibly green in her character work and her gimmick work. But I mean, and let's face it, what is she? She's not even 30 years old yet. She's still
I think she's
incredibly,
like 24
yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that.
I mean, she's still incredibly young, incredibly inexperienced. Um, not to slight her, but somebody needs to take that title off of that woman.
It's just
And that,
like the
and
whole
that somebody don't need to be Charlotte Flair either.
no, it's the whole argument we had about the not even argument, the discrepancy we had against Becky holding that in the Continental title. Because it's like, I want that title to, push the new and young talent up. Like Becky had no business having that title. She's already established.
Hmm.
Bailey has Bailey has no reason to have that title either, but I can understand it, like the whole aspect of, they're trying to get Grand Slam champion. I understand that. But, you know, Becky should have been lost it. Bailey have it. Boom. Bailey has it. She loses it to somebody else. But let's build up the other talent. I mean, I was happy that Vega, and I don't want to butcher her first name because it's not coming. Zelina. Okay, Zelina won the US title from um Chelsea Green. And if anybody watched WWE Unreal, that was I loved it because it showed, like, we was worried about if it was gonna show too much, right? It didn't show a lot. It showed some things that are kind of like, gray area as far as like back in the day of WWE, but it definitely, from people that are not understanding of what this business is compared to us, it shows you that these people are putting themselves on the line 24/7 for our entertainment, and this stuff means something to these people because, I mean, growing up, wrestling, it was a fever dream to some people, but then eventually they made it to this company and they want to continue doing what they need to do to be one of the faces of the company.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 exactly. Like these, when like I kind of like to think of like people on the highest echelon in WWE, AEW, whatever wrestling promotion you want to choose. I kind of think of them almost like rock stars. Like nobody, I think, sets out to be the next Eddie Van Halen, for example. But people want to carve their own path, be influenced by people like Eddie Van Halen. Yes, but you're not going to set out to be the next Eddie Van Halen. Same with, you don't set out to be the next Hulk Hogan. You don't set out to be the next, Macho Man, or Ric Flair, or who, insert superstar here kind of thing. You don't set out to do that, but you're influenced by them. And you can also use that to kind of be your root as you grow and develop and thrive in this business. And, you know, people at the top of WWE have the kind of recognition that an Eddie Van Halen or, Mick Jagger, or whatever, have that kind of celebrity. And, these are people who love what they do for the most part.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, for the most part.
but these are people who love what they do. If they get paid well to do it, Godspeed. But these are people who love what they do, and they put their bodies and their lives on the line every time they step on those ropes.
I know we wanted to probably touch base on this, like a current wrestler that got released recently, Karrion Cross. I mean,
Exactly.
he gave a good explanation of why he do it. But like any business or any stage of entertainment, these people are wrestling is acting, but on a physical scale. Not to say that acting ain't physically imposing either, but they got stunt doubles and they they do it a certain way to where obviously the stunt double is probably going to take the most blunt of the physicality, but when it comes to the actors in wrestling, they take 100% of the blunt,
Mm-hmm.
the force, the physicality, and there's no rehearsals. There's no there's no practice. Like they run through it, talk about things like how they're
Right.
going to set up certain angles and certain spots in the match, but there's no timeouts. There's no like second chances. Stuff happens like quick times.
There's no second takes. I mean, yes, they're
No,
gonna
no second takes.
that sometimes they'll put a crash pad or something in the ring in practice a spot. But when you've got a global TV audience and you've got, you know, 20, 30,000 people in the audience on live television, there's only one chance to get it right.
Absolutely. And well, since we're on that subject, uh, Karen Cross recently debuted in GCW.
Yes,
Did
she
you see
did.
that? That
Mm-hmm,
was
sure did.
that's pretty dope on his part. I'm glad to see. I really want him to, I guess, work his way back in the WWE umbrella a little bit. Probably, maybe back in TNA, or if not, I think he has enough stardom to, be on the same level as a Mercedes Monroe, or I mean not Monroe, excuse me, Monet, or one of those that left WWE and became a bigger star in another promotion. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're gonna get to Miss Monet here in a minute, but I do want to take a look at the card that we've got set up.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And
and
I know we didn't touch it on the meeting before the episode, but uh, who do you think needs that title? More, who do you think needs that title more than Stephanie? Seeing that Stephanie had a clear path to the title, which she probably was going
right,
to lose anyway to Naomi, but now it's wide open now. So, who do you think besides Stephanie? Stephanie's number one, but
right.
who's your pick now for that title?
That's a really good question. I'm thinking one of the Japanese women kind of like goes to the top of my list.
Right.
Um, You know, I'd love to see Asuka give her some of that veteran rub. Um, but Io,
That's a good pick.
yeah, yeah. I mean, how do you think they end up handling that? Because they've got 1 week to put this together.
Now, if you would have told me I had information about Bianca Belair possibly making a return, I would say her. But
But we have not seen hide nor hair from her,
mm,
since she did that guest ref spot.
referee spot, yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, she couldn't even get physical then because I mean, her finger.
right.
I saw an interview. I think it was with Stephanie. And she said that her hand is healed, her finger is healed. It's just I guess the ligaments haven't fully got back right because she can't even bend her finger. So and besides Stephanie winning that belt, I'm trying to process the women that are in Raw right now. And obviously, uh, not Raquel, but Roxanne. Roxanne is a number two that's possibly
Yeah,
could get it. Or but I feel like I'm gonna be devil's advocate. But they got this weird thing going on with Rhea, Io Sky, and the Kabuki Warriors. I guess like
hmm
Io, I mean like Rhea's probably going to like break them up or in a sense or whatever. But I feel like Rhea is probably going to be the default to like restart things back up as far as in the women division. Like she don't need that title. Obviously, she got her
yeah.
name and she's mommy and this and that. Uh, but Rhea has. We got to have a heel. We got to have a women a heel
Yep.
woman at the top because I mean we can't have two. Can't have Stephanie over there at SmackDown being the champion. We don't know what she is, and then we can't just. I mean, as much as we know it that Stephanie's going to be champion eventually. Obviously, if you want to write, not necessarily just calling it a wrong by Big Jim, but you want to right the wrong that Big Jim made. Um, I think that somebody has to be a heel. I don't know who, but we definitely have to have that yin and yang of the two brands.
Agreed. Could not agree more. And I feel like this may be a conversation for down the line, but somebody who needs to be a heel right now in the women's division is Jade Cargill. Because I kind of feel like her babyface act is kind of as limited and as green as she still is in the ring. I kind of feel like her babyface act is starting to wear very thin right now.
It just don't work for me because I mean my introduction to Jade was in AEW and she was a heel and
Saying, I know,
she did a damn good job as a heel.
and she was a badass heel too.
Yeah. So
One
I
of the
mean,
reasons why I was so excited when she signed with WWE.
yeah, and it's that WWE rub when you are an outsider coming in, and obviously you want to do what you need to stay within the company and kind of like not necessarily brown nose, but like you're gonna be that team player. You're gonna do what you need to do, trust in the process or whatever the case may be. But I think they need to take mm, the starter wheels off. It's time to take the starter wheels off. Let her
Mhm.
sink or swim. Let her figure it out. Let her be herself. Don't be this promotional jade or whatever the case may be. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think in AEW, they had a lot of freedom over there where they could just, do whatever for their character. So I think they need to like let her bring a little bit of that energy over to WWE.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. But be that as it may, I feel like that may be more of a conversation for down the line.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, WrestleMania 42 kind of feels like a good spot for that. If Bianca Belair can come back in time, but getting ahead of myself here. Um, I will be very interested to see what they end up doing with that title. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
well, the card as it stands right now, you've got Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. That's probably going to be the opening match of the whole show.
I mean, it gotta be. We got a battle for the shoe of follow. So
Sure, Paula. Yeah, yeah. Um, there's been talk about um kind of an Australian tradition, but there's been talk about Bronson Reed doing a shoey out of one of Roman Reigns' sneakers.
oh God. Oh
On.
wow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking about all the. I mean, not saying that Roman don't keep his feet in check, and you know, I'm pretty sure he has excellent hygiene, but
The man is a professional athlete. Let's not forget.
yeah, his feet get sweaty. So I
Thank
mean,
you.
and then Bronson Reed got the shoes just hanging around his neck, and I'm pretty sure sweat and stuff be falling in the shoes, and it's just like I just
Yeah, no, let's shotgun a beer out of that. Man, it makes perfect
let's
sense.
just drink a beer out of a can or a glass. We don't have to, or
Thank you, like a civilized person, like I want to
just
do.
poke the side of it and just do it like a
Yeah,
one of them college.
yeah, just like shotgunning like you were back in college or something. Yeah.
Yeah, not in a shoe, man. That's so disgusting.
Again, it's an Australian thing. Let's not
I get it. I
let's
get
not
it.
shit on
I
that.
get it.
Yeah. All right. So I think Roman's got to go over.
Of course.
just
I
to kind
mean,
of get his heat back
yeah, get his shoes back, of course.
and get his sneakers back. Yeah. Sheamus and Rusev, they're calling this a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. No disqualification, street fight, whatever the hell you want to call it. Um, I have zero interest in that match. That feud does nothing for me right now, and I like both of those guys.
I I hope Sheamus wins.
I do too.
And then also I hope it's I mean the way they be beating the holy crap out of each other, it definitely got the Braun and Bronson effect that put Bronson on the map. So
Yeah. Now the match I'm looking forward to: a four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight.
okay, question with that match.
Yeah,
Is that the main event, do you think?
the main event over um Cena and what's his face
Absolutely.
and Logan Paul.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I know John Cena's last, go around. This is his last match I mean, yeah, his last match in Paris. You know, you'll never see John Cena in the WWE ring in Paris again. But story wise, okay, that Fatal Four Way has more heat, more let's say writing on the wall for more to come towards possibly some Survivor Series compared to a match with Logan Paul and John Cena. And then the the feeling in my gut, and you know where I'm going with this, Ryan, is all the talks of Logan Paul being a WWE superstar and he's not an outsider and outside of the ring, obviously we know Logan Paul loves the business. He respects the business. You know, Obviously, they got a great partnership with each other. I hate the fact that I'm even going to say this, but I think Logan Paul might win that match.
Oh boy.
Only because, we're big on storytelling and we're big on like the dynamic of it. Him beating John Cena, the GOAT, would only amplify Logan Paul as a WWE superstar. Now, granted, I hope he don't win. I hope he don't win clean either. Like I hope he wins by like DQ. And the only reason why I say that is because the fact of you have Brock Lesnar show up at SummerSlam, right? He F5 John Cena. We don't hear no whiff. We don't get a whiff. We don't get a talk about. We don't get nothing about what happened to John with Brock. Obviously, he just like, I want to fight all the best. I want to do this. I want to do that. I would get to Brock when I get to Brock, right? We thought Brock was going to be at Clash of Paris. Obviously, they thought otherwise.
Right.
So, what makes you think that Brock won't show up in Paris and cause a DQ for Logan Paul? Now that still keep the heat going between Brock and John Cena, obviously, and then it also kind of saves John's run because you didn't win clean. You had to get help, so it kind of adds to Logan Paul like I'm one of the hottest, greatest superstars because I beat John Cena. But you didn't beat John Cena. You just won on a technicality.
And you can hang some great heel heat on that too.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention Brock Lesnar because it's kind of looking like they're gonna do John Cena and Brock Lesnar for their ESPN debut. And oh, we're gonna talk about that. But the
Yeah.
ESPN debut between in September with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. So they got to set that up somehow, and I think him showing up in Paris would be a great move for that.
And could you imagine that? Obviously, that music gonna hit. I mean, Brock don't just show up and the music don't hit. So that music hits. John is looking like, okay, come on, ready. You ain't gonna get me this time around. And he just comes out of the crowd and just F5.
And that crowd in Paris is going to lose its ever loving mind.
And then who's to say Brock don't even? I mean, Brock just comes out and just destroys both of them. I mean, he probably don't even like Logan Paul either, and just destroys Logan Paul. So
Wouldn't break my heart.
right, but
Uh,
I don't think that match. Okay, here you go. If that match is the main event, Brock is showing up.
Agreed. Agreed. But if it's the co-main event, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe.
Right. Right. Not for nothing. I kind of think he shows up either way, but
Yeah, either way it goes, he gonna show up. Yeah. I mean, you can't have Brock make an appearance at SummerSlam and then he don't pop up again in Paris. I mean, Paris is to me, in my eyes, Paris feels like a big event anyway.
yeah. Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Those European crowds are just rabid.
Are,
I mean,
are
that crowd
crazy.
is going to be crazy.
And could you just imagine, like, not to say, not to say it's not a possibility, but not to say it could happen, like it's going to happen because, which we'll get back to it anyway. Um, the Drew versus Cody match. Like, if Drew was to win that title, that crowd would go bonkers, right? But on the flip side, I feel like Randy Orton is going to get involved in that match. Not for Drew necessarily, but kind of in the sense of, obviously he got his discrepancy and beef with Drew, but I want to see Randy get 15. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry to all the Cody fans. I like Cody. We talk great things about Cody on his run to get the undisputed title. But as a person of history, we got to see John Cena break the record. So why not give Randy 15? I mean, Randy is one of the guys that has been loyal like the Undertaker. Has been there the entirety of his career. This guy has been through a lot personally,
Hmm.
and I mean, we
Come back from
I
some nasty injuries.
back from some nasty injuries, and like, I mean, the man deserves 15. I'm sorry. I mean, hell,
Agreed.
he deserves 16,
Agreed.
but
Agreed. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
it it just feels like they need that with the undisputed title until they get Roman back in the picture with that title. I mean, hell, to be honest, Roman probably be going for the world title at this point. So I guess you definitely need something like that to kind of continue on with the undisputed title.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like Roman just wants blood at this point, no matter how it looks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we're both got one eye on this NXT pay-per-view that just went off here.
like how is he gonna carry the title like to WrestleMania? I mean, like this dude has had the title for a while, man.
Answer me this. Why is Obafemi not on the main roster right now?
I
That
guess
dude,
they're
that dude got a great look. He's got a great presentation. He can work. He needed to be on the main roster a year ago, if you ask me.
I got a lot of superstars that I feel like need to be on the main roster or back in the main roster. To be honest, not even in NXT. Um, Keith Lee, why haven't you got him back? Um,
Don't get me started on him. They wasted him so bad.
Granted, this guy had some legal trouble, but the legal trouble is gone now. I mean, Velveteen Dream, that guy had some like he had a rocket strapped to his back, and he was going to be on the main roster. But obviously, outside of
He,
interference
he's never
happened.
going to be on the main roster now because they're net that I mean, signing him back would be a death sentence.
But
Be
I
Archer.
mean, we can say the same thing about Brock. So I mean,
Indeed, indeed. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we gotta. I mean, I think we're definitely gonna have some recap on that coming up in our next episode. So I'm definitely
yeah,
looking forward to that. It's the I would say the rare Sunday night PLE or Sunday afternoon PLE for us here in the States, which I am not mad about. Um,
me neither.
yeah. Um, Now speaking of PLEs, I did want to kind of touch on this.
Who's that gonna win the championship match?
The four-way,
Yeah,
I feel like Rollins retains, but it's not going to be clean.
I
Um,
feel I feel like that too.
I feel like this is a prime spot to get Braun Breaker on that main event push. Give him a like an interference spot. Give him something in that match. Um,
Hear me out.
lay it on
I
me.
got a grand
Lay,
I got a
lay it
grand
on me.
idea.
Lay it on me.
To really put Braun in that main event spot. Now, this is just my theory. It's a fatal four way, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he gonna have his goonies help him out. We know that.
Right, because fatal four way,
Um,
no DQ.
yeah, no DQ. Roman comes out and helps Jey, obviously. That's family. Um, so that eliminates Bronson. That eliminates Bronson. Okay. Obviously, Roman has heat with both men's, CM Punk and Seth Rollins, right? Uh, I mean Roman, but Seth screwed Roman out of the title, correct? So that increases that heat between them two. Roman basically increases his heat with CM Punk by helping someone else, not necessarily put it back on Jey, but anyway, interfering in his match. CM Punk interfered with LA Knight match that cost him his chance of winning. It's a lot of storyline wrapped into that, and everything in my heart is pointing me in the direction of what is one way to, because at the end of the day, Seth Rollins don't need that title. Let's just
You don't.
like he really don't
Yeah.
need it. And quite frankly, it's too much variance in that match to not make me feel like Seth should not be screwed out of that title. You screw CM Punk out of that title, right?
Hmm.
CM Punk screwed LA Knight out of that title. Um, you screw Roman out of his undisputed title, so Roman got heat with you anyway. So what better way to like have interference in that match? You set LA Knight up for a spear. He misses uh uh Bronson Reed, no, not Bronson Reed, excuse me. Braun Breaker misses the spear, hits Self with the spear, which is caused a breakup in the because that's basically forming that putting him into the main event picture,
Hmm.
and an implosion basically is starting to form, and the title gets on LA Knight, and then like
Which nobody
somehow,
is expecting, by the way.
which nobody's expecting, nobody whatsoever, right? That is a great moment with LA Knight. LA Knight has the title, and then eventually, and I feel like they should do it this way. Uh, Breaker goes after the title. And that caused a feud between him and Rollins because now Rollins like, you the one that cost me that title. And it's like, yeah, but I want to make it up to you by getting that title back for you.
I can buy that. I can
And that's kind of
absolutely.
what, and
I
that's
can.
kind of how
I
you
can
can
absolutely
pull,
buy that.
and that's how you can pull like Rollins away from the title scene and then get us back with the three-way between him and CM Punk or whatever and Roman.
Now the question is, do they do this? I love the scenario.
Yeah.
I think that couldn't agree with you more. I think that Seth Rollins absolutely does not need that title. Um, I feel like just like a surprise kind of title change to LA Knight would be just gold. Um, because in my opinion, Jay doesn't need it, CM Punk doesn't need it, and Seth damn
No.
sure doesn't need it.
No. Like was we expect to see CM Punk to be a champion? I mean, quite frankly, I wasn't. But like to see him have that title for 5 minutes, that was good. That felt great. Obviously, we was like, oh, what storylines could we get with that? Which we did immediately. Boom, Seth Rollins comes out. We knew it wasn't a ruse. He comes out and gets the title. Now, obviously, you have a target on your back, but you had a target on your back before you even had that title anyway. So, like, it's kind of we need to get the title off you so you can. It's still more money on the table if we just have like this whole three-way dance between him, Rollins, and Rollins, Roman, and CM Punk. Which again comes back to my theory that I said to you before in previous episodes: Survivor Series. Like we're 2 months away from a Survivor Series, or a month maybe, but
Right.
We're like right around the corner for Survivor Series, and we need a 5-on-5 match.
Right. Hmm. Let me stew on that a little bit because there's definitely there's definitely a lot of gold with that. There's definitely a lot of potential with that. And they're doing Survivor Series in a stadium show this year.
San Diego.
Yeah, in San Diego.
Now,
Um, yeah.
do you think? I know this is off topic, but do you think Rey Mysterio make his retirement match at at Survivor Series? Who's to
How's
say
it?
he's not retired already? But
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, he's being held together by duct tape, baling wire, and prayers at this point. Um, it's a very good thought. That's a very good thought, and that would be a great place to have it. Um, and do you think that retirement match is a hair versus mask match against Dom? Do
I
that
would
whole
only I would only say, you know what? Not even hair versus mm, not even hair versus mask. Title versus mask. And I say title, but I don't mean intercontinental title. I say AAA title.
that AAA title. I like it.
Because hear me out on this one. Ray has never won the AAA title, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Dom's wins it. I'm the greatest Mysterio of all time because I have the title that you never won, right? You want this title, you gotta put your career on the line, right? What better way to end Rey Mysterio's career than lose to his son for the AAA title
And lose his mask at the same
and
time.
lose his mask, and then that way you put the mask on Dom, and that's how Dom carries the mantle.
Dom becomes Rey Mysterio the third.
But he don't go by Ray; he just go by Dom Mysterio.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. There's a lot of gold there because, and hear me out. How many people nowadays are going to remember the fact that Rey Mysterio worked in WCW for a little while without a mask?
Not very few, pretty much our age group.
Right. Because to be fair, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, not to harp on the lineage of luchadors. Um, they'll play about unmasking and wearing a
Absolutely.
mask. Like they take
Yeah,
this very
those are
serious.
sacred. Those are sacred in the lucha world.
But I mean, how many guys we've seen now? The Andrades, the list goes on and on. They taking the mask off the head. I mean, Sami Zayn used to wear a mask. I mean, like what?
El Generico, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's my theory, but I mean, like I don't know what WWE has planned. I mean, that if you want people to tune in to AAA even more, then obviously the people that follow AAA, they don't even like the current champion anyway. So why not put it on them?
Right. Well, I think that would be just a stroke of genius if they put that title on Dom here in a few weeks.
What you like to say, Ryan? You smell money. That's money.
I'm hearing cash registers in my head right now because
But
Rey Mysterio is a god in Mexico.
oh, he's a legend. Yeah, he's one of their goats. I mean, one of our goats too. I mean, he is
Oh
one of the
yeah,
greatest cruiserweights of all time to us.
yeah.
But what better way to have him, obviously in the terms of wrestling, your retirement match you're supposed to lose.
Yep.
So, and then that's just another stamp on not only your legacy, far as like your last name, but that boosts your son even more. Because you got your get back at WrestleMania when you beat him.
Mhm.
So why not let him beat you for your retirement match?
Well, if Ray can go at all, I'd love to see it.
And I love to see, WWE. I know they got somebody listening in on our pods, and I just want them to send us an email like, hey, we like what y'all talking about, and we would like for, to maybe work with y'all a little bit. So,
Right. Right. I mean, I live right down the road from y'all. Come on. All right. So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up this really kind of disgusting viral video that's been going around lately. We don't want to dwell on this, but I feel like we do need to address it. Now, if you're not familiar, um, Quentin Rampage Jackson, who is a legend in the MMA world, his son, a man named Raja, I think,
yeah.
is an aspiring MMA fighter himself, but also a streamer. And he got involved with this pro wrestling promotion out in California that is owned by a guy named Rikishi, by the way. Side note. Um, but he, if I understand it right, a wrestler who goes by the name of Psycho Stu, I think. A former Army veteran dealing with PTSD, kind of an interesting cat, right?
Yeah.
The speculation was that he might have had a couple of drinks and tried to crack a beer can or a soda can on Raja's head.
Which was a work, by the way.
What
Like,
exactly? It was a work.
yeah.
And then later on in the ring, Raja was going to get his receipt by taking this guy down. But he threw the guy down like a sack of ice, and
Like
he
a
went
second.
like he went limp, and then hit him with like 20 some odd uninterrupted shots to the head. Now, I'm willing. First of all, there's no excuse for what happened. There's no excuse at all for what happened. But I'm willing to admit, hey, this is somebody who doesn't know how to work. This is somebody who doesn't know how to throw a worked punch. But that whole situation was messed up from jump because if you've seen the video, and I don't encourage you to watch it because it's kind of gross, and we will not be linking it in the show notes, by the way. But if you've seen the video, the dude goes limp as soon as he hit the canvas, he was out like a light. And they should have stopped the angle right there. And like I joke all the time about these independent wrestling shows doing these ridiculous spots for $50 and a gift card to Red Lobster or whatever. But there's no joking about this.
Yeah, absolutely not. And like we discussed before the show, some promotions do things like this to increase the viewership of the
Of
show,
course.
or to
Yeah.
bring more attention to the show, which is understandable. But it goes back to an episode we were talking about celebrities getting involved with pro wrestling. It's hit or miss at times, and this is one of the biggest miss in a long time that we've seen. And it happened to a performer. It wasn't even like, oh man, they shouldn't have never had a celebrity in there, not, because they're not trained and they
Right.
hurt themselves.
Yeah.
But one, he's a UFC fighter. Okay,
Hmm.
they're trained to brutally beat somebody up. They're not laying off punches. They're not acting. They're not, restraining themselves. They're laying it on thick. In the world of wrestling, like we like to say, a work is basically something where both people know that, okay, like me and you, for example, we could talk about each other and blah, 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 and I hate you and I hate you. And okay, I'm finna hit a chair over your head. Okay. You know it's coming, but you also know, like, I mean, I have to hit you in a way where, obviously it's gonna hurt, but at the same time, we gotta make it look good. We gotta make it like, oh man, that chair shot was legit.
Hmm.
Um, the whole work outside, he hit him with a can, and then one of the performers in the back was telling him it wasn't even the guy that hit him with the can. It was a buddy of his, another fellow wrestler was like, "Hey man, later on in the show, you go get your payback." Okay. In
Right.
his mind, he's thinking, "Oh, I'm finna get my lick back. I'm finna wail on this guy." So, in the video, he jumps the railing, goes right in the ring, and goes straight after him. And it looks like an Alabama slam to me, but like he slams him and lets go. Like, sometimes people, when they slam, they kind of like throw them not gently, but enough to where. And then another thing is like, wrestlers are trained whenever they hit their mat, their chin, they tuck their chin so
Hmm.
their head don't bounce off the mat. Well, when he slammed him with force, and then also the wrestler, you see him go limp. Like as soon as he hit the mat, it's just like his
Yeah.
body just don't even move. And then, like you said, he gets on him and wails on him. And if anybody want to know, if you don't watch the video and you want to know what we're talking about, just think about, you know, once again, Marvel, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Green Goblin. He was
Hmm.
wailing on Green Goblin like
Oh,
with
yeah.
with force and anger, and like he was trying to kill the Green Goblin, and then that's when Tobey Maguire Spider-Man stepped in and tried to stop him, kill him. But basically, when Raja was beating him to a pulp, basically,
Right.
uh, the performers had to jump in. Normally, in a spot like that, referees try to jump in because obviously it's a wrestler that's doing this, but it wasn't a wrestler. It was a celebrity basically,
Right.
an
For
outsider,
lack of a
if
better
you want
word.
to call it.
Yeah.
For lack of a better, he is. But it was an outsider, so it wasn't like some random guy that they didn't know. And like normally, if it was like we seen in constant videos. I mean, like Triple H wailed on a guy because he snuck in the ring. Bret Hart, when the fan jumped in on him on the Hall of Fame induction, not his, but they was inducting somebody. They wailed on that guy. They got him out like
Yeah.
that. But with this being the dude, they knew he was gonna go in there in the ring anyway. Like when he slammed him, everybody was like, okay, this is the spot that we talked about or whatever. But then when he proceeded to go in with the punches, okay, that's not part of the plan. That wasn't part of the agreement. That wasn't part of the plan of what was supposed to happen. So that's when the wrestlers had to get involved, and it should have been a ref to stop it anyway from the jump.
And the ref just looked overwhelmed.
Yeah, he was just like he was flabbergasted. He didn't know what to think,
Right. Right.
and it was just
A
it was
poorly
just
trained ref, if you ask me.
yeah. I mean, but at the same time, this is an indie show, so
Right.
they're
Right.
not putting on the production like a WWE or AEW or New Japan or whatever.
Well, few things about that. Rampage Jackson was famous for those slam moments in his, like in his like pride matches in Japan back in the day. But you're gonna have a referee who, when he sees the guy go limp, you're stopping the fight. You don't let him just jump on the guy and just start wailing away on just wailing away with punches.
I mean, this was for a good what 30 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No, hit
it
it,
was
hit him with like 20 some odd uninterrupted shots.
it
There's
was it
a
was nasty.
I'm reminded of remember that one SummerSlam match between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton,
How could I
where
forget?
yeah, exactly. And this is, for those who don't know, Brock Lesnar, who is a former UFC champion, by the way, was just nailing Randy Orton with like stiff shots to with the intention of busting him open. But that was a planned spot. He knew how to hit Randy. It probably hurt like hell, but he knew how to hit him for it to be safe. But legend has it that Chris Jericho was
Livid.
radioactive angry
He was livid.
backstage and wanted to fight Brock because he didn't know that it was part of that it was part of the planned spot.
Hmm.
Now think about this. Apparently this all started with this guy Psycho Stu cracking a beer can over the guy's head. Now, if that was a even if that was a legitimate spot, okay? Like even if that and spot's not the good word for this, even if that was a legitimate like aggression, right? Raja has the right to defend himself in that moment. He would probably be in the right to swing at the guy.
Hmm.
But
Uh,
the way that it was premeditated, like almost like he wanted that to happen. That was just what was disgusting about this whole thing to me.
yeah, I'm trying to look up information about it more because if I'm not mistaken, um, Raja had a concussion going into that night in the first place, and you know, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but last time I checked, a concussion deals with your brain, and if you have a concussion, you don't need to be doing anything physical for a while. And going into that and get hit in the head when you're supposed to have a concussion already, that ain't going to go too well for the rest of the
No,
night.
nope.
I mean, The Undertaker, prime example, but he had a concussion versus the Brock Lesnar, and he said he don't remember the rest of that night. I mean, after he got
Yeah,
slammed and the concussion happened, he don't even remember losing to Brock Lesnar. And he don't even remember that spot where after he got a concussion, he don't remember whatever else happened the rest of the night because
yeah.
it went
Like
black
Brock,
for him.
Brock, 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 and the ref had to walk him through the rest of that match.
And to this day, Undertaker don't even watch that match.
Yeah,
He don't even try to
I don't
relive
really
it.
blame him.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
yeah, here we go. So apparently, obviously, Rampage wrote on Twitter, "I don't condone my son's actions at all." Um, he said that he suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely to physical contact. So if your son is not supposed to do anything physical, why in the blue HW hockey sticks is he even remotely close to anything physical? Boxing, wrestling, baseball, football, whatever the case may be, he should have been at home recovering. He should have been at a
thank you.
restaurant with you where you was eating. He should have been somewhere, nowhere near anything. Or even if he was at the wrestling event, why is he getting involved? Like, why do you not know what's going on? I'm pretty sure his son was like, "Hey, yo, I'm going to this event, blah blah blah." But if not, like, where is his people? Where is the like, I don't know, manager, friends, whatever the case may be? Anybody with
Right.
common sense to be like, "Hey, man, I don't even think this is a good idea. You got a concussion. You might need to sit out."
To be clear, this is no kid. This is a 25-year-old man who did this.
A grown man.
A
Yes.
grown man, a grown trained athlete who did this. Now, like the way that the way that he let the comment section of this live stream kind of keep pushing him along. See, that's what kind of blows my mind, because half these people don't know this man.
Mm.
And this guy's gonna be catching a charge for this. He's gonna
Yeah.
be catching a serious charge for this.
Yeah. And it's like we
And I'm
get, I
surprised.
mean,
I'm surprised he's not in custody right now.
and there's people come out and say, you know, he's an MMA fighter. He had no business being in that particular thing. But if people don't remember, hell, CM Punk, obviously he was a wrestler before he became an MMA fighter. But like, it's hard. Not to
Ken
say our best friends.
Shamrock.
Kim Shep, exactly. We've had multiple wrestler to MMA or MMA to wrestler things, but it took a while for them to realize, like, okay, you know, this is different. This is not what I was used to. You know, I have to kind of like turn that switch off. But like, first of all, this dude had no business being there in the first place if he has a concussion.
Thank
That's
you.
first and foremost. Number two, if the man hasn't talked to anybody or y'all haven't worked, like there's days that goes into an event. You can't just do this on a 24-hour time limit or whatever and think stuff is going to operate correctly. It's not. They go through a week of this. Like right now, we're talking Sunday, right? We're going through a week of stuff that we learned throughout the week of wrestling, so we have something to communicate to you, our audience. It's not like we just do it like out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then number three is MMA is different from wrestling. Like I said before, they're trained to not only protect themselves, but to physically harm someone.
Thank you. Yes.
So that's
That's their
why, you
job.
know, you don't see too many boxers or MMA fighters trying to go to a bar or be in some type of physical thing because if they get arrested, they're going to get arrested because their hands are lethal weapons
Their
and they will
hands,
get
their
charged
feet.
and
Yes.
their feet. Yes, so they'll get charged like if I try to stab you with a knife. So you shouldn't have been it shouldn't have been involved in that because it was terrible from the jump. You didn't work through it. Y'all didn't talk about it days beforehand. It just was like they pulled
You
a
didn't
rabbit
put
out their butts.
you didn't practice it. You didn't, you get professional wrestling. And I got one more topic that I want to talk about here, but and I promised myself I wouldn't get too far down this rabbit hole, but we've been going at this for a second
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Um, Professional wrestling is a dance. It's a violent dance. Let's not forget my favorite match of the year so far. I think it was an elimination chamber between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That street fight that they had, that unsanctioned match that they had.
Yes.
Now, that match was violent, it was bloody, it was ugly, but Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens love each other like brothers. They were in each other's weddings, for crying out loud. You've got to communicate. You've got to work with these people. You've got to do this because the most unprofessional thing that any professional wrestler can do, I don't care if it's a WWE locker room or if it's a, Knox Pro Wrestling locker room or whatever that was last night.
Yeah, academy as they call it.
Yeah, you don't go into business for yourself. That is the quickest way to get blackballed in any pro wrestling locker room, is going into business for yourself. New Jack, God rest his soul, is the prime example of that.
Well, you will if they can't trust you in the ring. Prime example, MVP was on a podcast recently, and he didn't say any names, but um, when you're in the ring with somebody, y'all have a trust between each other. Like I'm trusting you with my body as you're trusting me with yours. So, like you said, if I was to injure you, then it's a it's an unwritten rule between performers. If injure you, you have to go to the hospital and check. Like if I injured you, I have to go to the hospital, ride in the ambulance with you all the way to the hospital. Make sure you're good. Apparently, that wrestler that he was talking about injured somebody and didn't go to the hospital, and that's totally understandable where MVP is coming from because that's just old school. Like I mean,
Right.
outside of the kayfabe of wrestling, we are real people. Like they're real people. So like you entrust me with your body, so I should be the one to make sure you're okay. Because at the end of the day, this guy has a family, he has a wife, he has things outside of professional wrestling that he has to go to and provide for. So like that was very I'm trying to remember the word that MVP said, but it was very
Unprofessional for one.
unprofessional. Yes, unprofessional of him to not do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, great example of that. D'Lo Brown and Drive.
Oh,
You know, I mean, it's a tragic accident that paralyzed Drives. You know, D'Lo Brown feels guilty about it to this day, but there was no bad blood between them.
mhm. And I
I mean,
mean, like
Drives was like, yeah, no, it was an accident. It sucks, but it was an accident. And
Kevin Owens.
yeah, Big E, when he took that, when he got his neck broken a couple of years ago.
Um,
I don't think he has any ill will. Who was it? Rich Holland that was in that
yeah,
was in
and
the match with
Rich
him.
went to the hospital to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure he was good and everything.
yeah, and not for nothing, but Stone Cold Steve Austin resented Owen Hart because Owen Hart, after he injured him, after he broke his neck with that pile driver, never checked on him, never went to the hospital. He resented the hell out of him for the rest of his life.
Oh, quick, one more before we
Yeah, yeah,
change subjects. WWE Unreal, the spot where Cody Rhodes had Alabama Slam Kevin Owens through a ladder. You see them in the back, and Kevin Owens is like laying there just bleeding. It was an
right.
incredible scene. He's bleeding, and he's asking Cody, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude, you
bro.
just
Like,
went through.
bro, are you okay? That was nasty. You took that face first.
Yeah, like, dude, like I just Alabama slammed you through a ladder, and ladder broke. You're falling over, on your neck backwards, and you're worried about me hitting the spot. Like, he did the knuckle slam, and
Hmm.
Cody, ate the ladder with his back and flipped off the ladder or whatever. But like, he was more worried about Cody than he was for himself.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. And that's how you have to be because Cody Rhodes got to go home to his wife and daughter.
Yeah,
Kevin Owens got to go home to his wife and to his
and
wife and
kids.
son and kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, and his giant son.
which he'll probably be a superstar
Oh
in
no,
due time too.
Kevin Owens got like a 6'6" son at like 17 years old. It's like that kid is a giant. uh, but yeah, just I hope Psycho Stu pulls through. I hope he can make a speedy recovery. But that was one of the ugliest things I have ever seen in a pro wrestling ring. And I have seen that video of New Jack throwing that dude off that scaffold into those tables.
Yeah. Let's just say Mr. Jackson is definitely going to face some type of something. He might have to pay some money, or he may have to do some time. But
Yeah, no, he's gonna be very fortunate if he doesn't catch some serious charges for that.
right.
All right. One last thing before we wrap this up here. Mercedes Moné, the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks, is now a 9-time champion. She has championships in 9 different promotions right now, from AEW in America all the way to Poland. Now, you asked me a really pointed question, and we had a great chat about this during our production meeting. Does this make her one of the all-time GOATs?
In every sport, it's going to be a debate about this topic, you know, greatest of all time. And I've seen a lot of debates. I've seen a lot of arguments. I've seen a lot of different topics on that. I remember Shaq was talking about LeBron, referring to himself as the greatest of all time. And in certain generations, everybody has agreed that Jordan is the greatest of all time. But when you ask Jordan, Jordan is like, I can't be the greatest of all time when you have a long lineage of greatest of all times in their era. So it's like,
Kareem, Bird, all
yeah,
those.
Kareem,
Yeah,
Bird, all Magic, all them, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
someone can be the greatest of all time in that certain generation, but it's never really going to be a greatest of all time in sports. But it's always going to be the standard of kind of the greatest of all time. So in wrestling form, obviously, we say John Cena is the greatest of all time, but only because he broke Ric Flair's record. Who's to say nobody down the line, probably, once we're dead and gone, who breaks John Cena's record? Is that person will become greatest of all time? So it's like it's really in the eye of the beholder. I see multiple people being greatest of all time, so it's really like not necessarily one GOAT per se. But, I consider Charlotte one of the greatest of all time. I consider Becky. I consider, uh, her career still young, but I consider Rhea and Bianca, and it's just so many like women performers that have, not only trailblazed for the women of now, but like, I mean, some people say Trish is the greatest of all time. Some people say Lita. So it's like currently right now. Obviously my ranking to be somewhat different from another person, but could Sasha be in the top three? Uh Currently right now, how is it looking? Yes, because she has 9 titles in 9 different promotions.
Right.
That is unheard of in the realm of professional wrestling.
Ric Flair in his prime wasn't even doing that.
Wasn't even doing that. Like
Right.
he was just winning that big gold belt 16 times. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's crazy to even sit here and like carry. Like, could you imagine just having a carry-on bag and there's nothing but championship belts in it?
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine running that through the conveyor belt at the airport.
Like that is unheard of to have 9 different promotions. And you're signed on to one, just one, AEW. But you represent AEW by going to all these different promotions and winning their main belt. And it's like, and we said this before, like when does it end? When is it where someone takes that belt away from you?
Yeah. Well, few few things come to mind for that. Just kind of going with your kind of greatest athlete of all time analogy. Um, like I think of some of the dominant pitchers of, many years ago. Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, people of that era who
Mhm.
retired well before I was born, by the way. But these are guys that had some of the most dominant seasons in baseball history. But they didn't have to stand on a mound 60 feet away from, from hitters that are built like Aaron Judge and, Freddie Freeman, like giant human beings who can hit a ball 500 feet. It's all relative, but I kind of equate more to what, Mercedes Monet is doing, to what a lot of these traveling territory champions did back in the day. Like Ric Flair's a great example of this. Like Ric Flair, yes, he was primarily based in the South, in the NWA, in Georgia Championship Wrestling. But Fritz von Erich called him for a huge match with his son, with which Von Erich's son was it? I think it was David before he passed. That big match at Texas Stadium. Which,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the YouTube video of that, the finish of that match is a masterclass in wrestling storytelling. But be that as it may, you brought in that name to be able to bring eyeballs, to be able to bring tickets, to be able to bring money into these organizations. And I kind of feel like that's what they're doing with Mercedes, with all these, all these various promotions. Now, a lot of these promotions are in places with huge pro wrestling, promotions. Japan, the UK, the US, Canada, places like that. How much pro wrestling is there? How big are the pro wrestling promotions in Italy? In Austria? No offense to any of those places. Those are three places that I want to visit, but still, how big are the wrestling promotions?
It's not that big.
Right.
Not necessarily it's not, but um these are promotions that are really unheard of in my eye. Obviously, I don't follow many indie companies, but it goes to like when you think about it, you know, it's more of a side quest. Like who's to say like one of the women in WWE can do what Monet is doing if WWE wanted to just copy what AEW is doing and like make Rhea do it, or Io Sky, since she's, Japan and she's very known internationally like that, or even Oscar. But I mean, Chelsea Green. I mean, who's to say she can do that? I mean, she came from or she was in. Obviously, some of them started off in Indies and then ended up in WWE, but like, you know, Chelsea Green wrestled Penta at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say she can just turn around and just go and win belts in different promotions, including the one that her husband is in, GCW. So,
Yeah, go
but
figure.
not not to poo-poo on Mercedes Monet's reign, because obviously she's a big star. She's been a big star since she was in WWE, and when she left, that name continued on, and she well established herself as a new character and just used that star power to intensify her brand, basically. And not only
Exactly.
intensify her brand, but also help AEW out because it brings more attention to her in AEW.
Again, and also to help bring eyeballs and tickets to the products and all these other promotions.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. And then like it only going to intensify like who is going to take those certain titles off of her.
exactly. Exactly. Well, I think it's a cool story. And
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really cool story, and wonder if she'll find a 10th belt
I mean,
to round it out.
she still hasn't won the AEW the women world title. She wrestled Tony Storm for a loss.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, let's see if she can find a promotion in China or whatever.
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so our next episode, I'm going to be talking all about the Clash in Paris, and I think that just even from the matches that have been confirmed so far, I think it's going to be a hell of a show, or it has the potential to be a hell of a show.
It definitely has. I hope they add more title matches because WWE has this tendency now of certain pay-per-views. They'll leave out the Intercontinental title. They'll leave out the US title. They'll leave out the tag team titles. We have one tag team from one show, but not the other. So it's like I never in our wildest dreams that we would be here now talking about wrestling versus back then we were kids watching wrestling and like to sit here and think that Vince McMahon will leave out an Intercontinental title match.
Yeah, go figure.
Like how
Go
many
figure.
pay-per-views can you just name in your hand outside of the Triple H era and maybe even the dark age era of the Super Cena or whatever that you can think of back in the day, like early 2000s or whatever, and not see an Intercontinental title match? It's unheard of.
Probably, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and to say nothing of the days of Mr. Perfect and Scott Hall and Razor Ramon and people like that.
Triple H and The Rock and
Yeah,
just
Honky Tonk
on and
Man,
on and
come
on.
on.
Honky Tonk Man. And then also like sit here and think about it. John Cena has won every belt in his career except for the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
Like this man has won every title of every decade since he's been in WWE and never won an Intercontinental title. It's mind blowing me.
Think his final match ends up being against Dominik? God,
God, I
I
hope
hope
not.
not.
I hope not. I hope not. No, 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 no
Yeah,
disrespect to Dom, but no, absolutely not. No,
yeah.
no, no,
Well, I think on that unnatural note, I think it's time to wrap this up here.
no.
Another
We had
another
a,
great another great episode, my guy. Let's run it back
oh yeah,
next week.
can't wait.
All right, my friend. Well, that'll do it for another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. Presentation of Royal Hearts Media. For more information about it, you can follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the places where you find podcasts. And until we meet again, and I'm sorry, until we eat again, for Dom, I'm Ryan. We thank you for watching and we thank you for listening. And so long for now.
Thank God for football.
There you go. Roll Tide.